Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As you can see by the title of today's video, we're here to talk 2v2 lineups. What's most capable of stopping LT decks, or more so countering that lineup on 2v2 and 2K25. So, I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you do, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff. Like always, try this 1,000 likes. So, just to kind of debrief you on the stuff we're talking about, essentially, it's stuff like this, where the center is running into a defender to intentionally try and get him to stop being able to guard this player right here, aka the 99 speed guard running around the perimeter, and then obviously force your kind of backside defender, in a pick and roll terminology, to have to step out to him, and in the wrong situation where it's a smaller guard, obviously you're going to get stuck on this and it's going to be hard to deal with. We made a video like this it was, about a week ago by this point that it's going to be uploaded. Obviously a lot of hate on it. I was trying to kind of talk about how the fact that I feel like this can be countered defensively, especially lineup wise, can be countered. A lot of people didn't like hearing that, but I'm doubling down on it a little bit here. I know some people are not going to like hearing that, and I'm here to tell you guys what is here to actually be able to stop it on 2v2 / be able to beat it is probably the better way to talk about this. So let's get straight into this. As you can see, we have some letter grades here. I don't really have anything that's intermediately decent at beating it. I think a lot of it is just C, because I think they're like, lineups that exist in 2v2, but I don't think they're actually well equipped for beating it. There's, as you can see, like I said, nothing in the B's or anything like that. It's just straight A's, A-, A+. Some things have slight edges, some things have slight, insignificance, if you will. But let's talk about the lineups. I want to talk about something like lock post as a combo first. And we'll have some gameplay for this. I'm going to have me and Tonic playing on this exact lineup right here. A small glass and a stretch, which, as you can see, the two A+s I think are the best way to be able to beat people doing this. But the other reason is, obviously, I have stretch plus glass, also LT dexing, because I think a lineup like this that could do it, yet still be tall enough to switch and play sides on it, whereas the other lineup can't, that seems even more toxic. I understand the speed to be harder to keep up with, but we'll talk about lineup stuff like that in the future. I know a lot of people are already thinking of like ways to counter this in their head as well. But anyway, let's come back to this lock post combo that I'm talking about. The problem with a lineup like this is that the mechanic itself is so good at getting people stuck. So I'm sure a lot of people who run this lineup right here get very frustrated at kind of the struggle of trying to get through that LT dex of just the big man holding the LT, and the lock having a hard time getting through that because pick dodger is obviously not activating on that, right? So it's a little bit frustrating for locks to get through that, and then you have the tall, super unathletic post on the back end having to step to the guard. If the lock's capable of switching, it then comes down to, can the post hang with the guard, on an island, whether that's off-ball dex or if that's just with the ball in his hand, which is tough for them to deal with. Obviously, the taller you are at big and the shorter you are at the one, the harder of a time you're going to have defending this. Now, I do want to address one little talking point that we had in the last video. I mentioned that if you have switchable lockdowns, like what I'm pretty much talking about with this lineup right here, that'd be a really good time for you to be able to defend this. It's going to be the most capable thing you have by far. I didn't give a very much acknowledgement for the people who are hard stuck on a lineup that has a guard, like an ISO guard plus stretch. Maybe you and your boy running something of a lineup like this. Also, my bad, I meant to just delete the one that was in the top right because we kind of accidentally duplicated it. But ISO guard plus stretch. Maybe you and your boy get hard stuck on a lineup like this because that's just how you work together on twos. Or pick and roll combo. You got a classic guard and center, but you don't do any LT decks just for your integrity. That's going to be hard for you to beat them because you're just going to be playing their game, but obviously not doing it in the exploitative, cheaty way. You're trying to legitimize it a little bit too much, and it's going to be hard to compete. I'm not demeriting you as far as your, respect that you deserve for it. I'm just saying it's going to be hard for you to win the game. That's just as simple as how I'm trying to put it. So anyway, pick and roll combos. A small guard plus a tall big when you're not doing LT decks is going to be hard to beat it. It's very good. It's going to be even better when you don't have switchable players in your lineup. And when you're playing 2v2, for you to be coming out here with a small guard, it's a tough look already, if you ask me. That's just the truth of 2v2. Generally, that's just the truth in general, because if we're talking a lineup like what you're going to see me and Tonic running, that's why it's so good in the first place, is because it's giving the guard a really hard time defensively, rather than, obviously, we're giving him a hard time on his offensive end, just because of the fact that we can switch everything, and both of us can rebound well. But attacking that guard with like a slasher / glass cleaner and then a post score / stretch of Tonic is just a really tough look for them. So anyway, point being, small guard equals bad ball as far as trying to defend him. But anyway, it sounds like I'm rambling, but it's because I'm stepping on shells, really trying not to offend people too much with like the talk of trying to actually stop this. But look, this is my way of seeing this right now. It's either you try and adapt and figure it out yourself, or if you can't, then either A, it just sucks and you're gonna have to play the game and not enjoy it, or B, you don't play the game and you find something else that you do enjoy. That was me 3 months ago. Found something else that I was enjoying doing. Now I see that there's like an enemy or a villain, if you will, on this 2K stuff, and I'm like really keyed in on trying to find a way to beat it and find a way to help you guys beat it, because that's just what I actually am thinking it's going to be kind of fun doing personally. So again, just want to say sorry to anybody that was hurt by the last video of talking about the, I respect that play style. It's not what I necessarily meant. I meant that, like, I think it's counterable. I think there's ways for us to figure out how to beat it, and that's what I'm here to do in today's video. So sorry for the rambling, but I just wanted to be genuine with you guys on this video and give my true opinions on stuff. So anyway, again, I know it sucks for like the small big combos. This lock post, depending on if the lock is too short, the guard and stretch. The reason I have ISO guard plus stretch at a C+ rather than these as C is because at least you can really key in on the lack of defense from the point guard in that lineup. So if you get ball first, let's say, and you have someone that's maybe a little bit easier to get to the rim, and if you have a real good stretch, like someone who's actually good shooting ratings and can shoot the ball well, a lot of these guys are going to force that dude to shoot. And what I think you're going to struggle with is those popper type builds, right? If your boy or you who's watching this is on a build that has like 74 3-pointer, 75 3-pointer, and he's not built for that, they're going to make him shoot every shot in the game, and you will eventually miss, probably. Or if you don't, hey, more power to you, but you play this type of lineup 10 games in a row, you're not going to hit every shot. Like, that's just how it is on those types of builds. So that's why I think a genuine stretch is a little bit more important. You got to be able to hit those shots because they will force you to shoot them. And no matter how your boy cooks on the ISO guard, if he gets to the hoop and they double team you, your teammate is going to have to shoot. So that's why genuine stretch, I think, is a little bit more important. Pick and roll combo of like a true inside big with an outside guard. We've already talked about this. Doesn't really work if you ask me. So let's get to the lineups that do work. Big ISO plus stretch. Now, what I mean by this is there's a real kind of surge, if you will, of 6'10 plus guards, and I'm considering making one myself pretty soon here. But shout out to the boy Spam. He's really motivated me to get on something like this, because, like, watch this, right? Now, I'm not saying, like, obviously he's dribbling right in the guy's face. He's not reaching or anything like that. So this isn't the best example, but a build that can move like this, though. This is a 6'10 hop jumper into speed boost into cross instantly. Like, this is a 6'10 point guard build out here, and his defense is good too, man. It's really, really good. I don't want to show all the build stuff. That's on his channel if you want to check it out. Shout out to him. I will show you some builds later in the video that actually can deal with this lineup, and this is one of them too. A 6'10 style point guard that can really deal with this type of stuff, and when you combine it with a stretch, you're now both going to be able to be pretty tall, 6'10 and maybe another 6'10, be very switchable. You both have like around 82 perimity with like 78, 79 speed, something like that, and the rebounding will be probably around, like, let's say the mid 80s, high 80s. And yes, I understand a lot of you are going to be like, oh, you can't board up with any of them crazy 99 rebound 7-footers or anything like that when you have lineups like this. Being able to double crash is a very underrated aspect, not to mention, I remember this very vividly from the beginning of the year, not to mention you'll see it in some of the gameplay I'm showing you in today's video. When you get running starts on the rebounds, aka crashing off the wing and stuff like that, you're going to get really good, fast running starts that just let you jump super high. You'll see what I'm talking about, and we've already talked about it on the channel if you guys do recall from back in the day. But anyway, it's still the same like that. So point being, when you have two players that can both rebound decent, as long as you can seal the box outs, that's at least your fighting chance on the boards. I do not think you're going to compete with a lineup like this of the LT decks with a small guard, 99 speed, super high rebounding on the big, by just having another like crazy high rebound guy, and then one of you not have a crazy high rebound. That means you're not gonna be able to switch, because yeah, as much as it probably sounds good on paper that you both have high prim, high interior, you're like, oh, I can guard the big. Problem is, if the guy at the one doesn't have really good rebounding, it's not gonna matter. You can't switch everything at that point. You just literally can't board up. So I think what's really important is to have around like silver, gold, box out beast, and at least like silver rebound chaser. That's the type of stuff I think you need to be on, and a big ISO type build and a stretch can both do that. And once again, as much as you probably will dominate that guard as the big ISO, that stretch is going to have to shoot the ball. So you also have to be pretty solid on the offense rebound. Once again, you'll see that in our lineup right here with the small glass plus stretch. And we have another wrinkle on this that makes it even more insanely annoying for them to deal with, that I will get to you guys in a second. But anyway, let's divert from talking about this stretch plus glass, also LT dexing. It's not really any point in talking about it. I'm just telling you guys, I think a big doing this is probably more dominant. Actually, we'll take a quick second to talk about this, because I think people's the contrary kind of mindset to that would be, well, they're not going to be as fast. They can't get as open as easily. So like locks and like guards can just stick with that. honestly, a good stretch can probably just shoot over a lot of guards. A good stretch will also have some midi fade in his bag, and just in general, dealing with that on top of LT decks is pretty tough, because at the end of the day, they will get that guy stuck, and then your big man out there, super tall big, that has to guard this stretch, now is going to have him on an island, and the guard is going to have to deal with the glass on the rebound. So it's still the exact same problem, man. If you have a small big combo versus a big combo, you're gonna struggle on twos. That's literally just how it is. It's just always gonna be like that. So now let's talk about the kind of meta version of that, of double switchable locks. So with this lineup, it's all built on the ideology of attack the weak link on offense, and then on defense you're just cracked out. It's on some comp pro-am 3 and 4 stuff, like the lock and the power forward on the back end, both having crazy defense. And then in this case, it's more of like 2 pro-am power forwards at the same time, if you will, where it's like 6-8 builds that can guard the guard at an elite level, can guard the big at an elite level, both can rebound, both contribute in that aspect, and then pretty much just play bully ball on the guard and just get your gritty buckets. And when that big man has to drop down, you'll try and knock down the shots, but it's not going to be at the highest rate like a stretch would be or anything like that, you know, like a pure stretch, but it'll still be at the rate where your elite defense can get more stops than a lot of these lineups as well. So anyway, let's finally get into some gameplay. I know this is probably a little bit of yap right here, and if you guys weren't interested, hopefully you just skipped through this and got to the gameplay, but this is the one I wanted to show you guys. This right here. Small glass, which is me, plus stretch, which is tonic. So for reference, this is the build that I'm on right here in this gameplay, which is, you know, a undersized big man, right, that only has like 50 standing dunk, but it gets the job done. And especially on something like twos like this, I'm not going to create a whole lot when it comes to like the ball handling, the slashing, stuff like that. It's just the truth. It's not efficient buckets. It's just how it is. So really what's more important here that you're looking at is the interior D, perim D, steal, block, O board, D board, and all the physicals. This is all the stuff that matters, not to mention the pass act is pretty nice to have in a lineup like this too. So it's a no shooting build at 6'8", which I know a lot of people are already thinking is troll, who haven't seen the channel or anything like that, and just that's how it is, you know, but it is what it is. Obviously, people are entitled to their own opinions. All right, so then, for instance, we have Tonic's build at the 2, which is also the wrinkle of the lineup that I was going to talk to you guys, and we'll get to that when the gameplay actually starts, but this build at the 2, you have bigs guarding you off the rip on the inbound with good pass act to be able to dot stuff. You can still play like a point guard essentially with, like, you know, dotting things on the inbound switches, or not to mention you can still play a little bit of pick and roll. Once again, if you want to get toxic back, you could LT dex with this build plus mine, and that's still the counter. We don't do it at all. I don't want to get any hate for it. That's just simply put, obviously. But anyway, obviously the build still gets silver rebound chaser with ADD board. That's good enough if you ask me, as well as being able to seal box outs, contributing with my build also leaking in for the rebounds. It's still got good block. Obviously the ability to play perim D with that 82 perim, getting you that silver challenger. The interceptor is still fine, stuff like that. And obviously 80 speed at 6'10 is still a pretty good pair. So all this included with having elite mid-range and three-pointer, to the fact that the guards can't guard you. I mean, he's literally going to shoot over them or take them to the post, whatever the matchup might be. And then bigs can't guard him because, once again, it's shot creator capability. It's still a tall point guard, essentially, that's just good at creating shots off the dribble and still has a post-game too. So anyway, let's get to the gameplay. I'm going to give you guys a live comm first of the game that I want to show live comm on. Then I'll show some post comm on the second one. So let's get straight to that, and I'll catch you at the end of that. Quick gameplay. With the second one with the post com.
Oh, here we go.
Think so? They look pretty. Oh wait, yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, 99 speed, 99 3, and agility high. Let's try and keep. We have ball first. Let's try and keep that big on you.
Yep.
I'm gonna just stand still here, pretty much. Yep. They really like to give up the 3 early.
Bro.
You could probably get a midi.
Oh.
Okay, I'm taking left if he yeah, get ready to take guard, or big, I mean. Yep. Okay, that's fine. Alright, these comms are gonna sound like we're locked as shit, but it's because I'm trying to be. Oh my god, fuck! Fake the cut into the corner.
Yeah.
Alright. You got left. I got right here, I'm up on guard. You got him now? I'm low. Oh, hell no.
Yeah.
Hell no. I'm down here on box, too. Yep. I'm ready for a dog fight. Come on. I'm gonna get locked in on these rebounds, too. Yeah, honestly, I like the idea of you being in the midi and just like, even just standing there staring them in the face until like they show that they're gonna switch would be fine, you know? Like, they have to.
Oh yeah.
They have to show that they're gonna do it. It's fine though.
Low key. I actually low key too. I'm kind of just waiting for you to get down there, and then I'm gonna start moving. And if the big moves a muscle,
okay,
I'm
yeah.
just put it up.
Switch.
Oh, he got there
I'm
fucking
here.
quick.
Oh my god, what a board.
I guess that's at 99
wow.
speed.
That's crazy. I had perfect positioning on that. I mean, I'll give him the back door though. I'm not worried about that shit. You're up. Yeah. I got corner side. Yep, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm fighting through it.
Trying to go up. Yeah, stay.
You're playing low. Yep, I'm here for board too. Clean. Let go. I'm being careful here.
Yeah.
You want me to screen?
Get it, hang on. I'm just posting up right
okay.
here.
Yeah, I'm getting down. Nice. Yeah, I like that spot a lot. Yep, because he's got to show you that he's gonna like guard you pretty much. Nice.
He actually bait him in the board.
Just don't even worry about rushing too much. If you're standing in that midi, he like either has to stay or has to go, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like right here, I bet he just leaves you. And those midis got to be the easiest shit for you to hit too, right? Rather than threes. Like.
Oh yeah. That shit's in the 90.
Oh, he plucked me.
Ah! Okay. That's the one thing he can't do. Probably is like
I mean, go figure. Dude's like sprint into shit on the handoff stuff, but like, I sprint into him there to die. It's off. I'm trying to get to his side. Yep, give me that.
Yes, sir.
See the future. Oh, they're gonna get the switch here, big time.
I didn't try this. That's fine. That's fine.
Oh my god. I'm gonna try and dunk this if they like give me the opportunity, but yeah, fuck it. Oh, alright, guard just took me out of it. I didn't expect that. That was like damn near a double team. Maybe the big just was gonna drop no matter what, and the guard just didn't want to. Or yeah, maybe they just wanted to make you shoot for game. I don't know. I'm tweaking.
He used it at 4. He was pretty high road.
Really? I didn't even see that. Well, okay, they weren't spamming the LT shit like the dexes because they still had probably like a pick and roll capable guard out of him. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's.
I don't know. That was that one play they did it like.
I mean, yeah, he had high speed, high three-pointer. I mean, they could have done it. I mean, that's even more like kind of my example of how it's hard to deal with like a lineup like ours though because of like having a build like that. Like anybody that's fast enough with a high enough three-pointer to make that shit like really problematic is gonna struggle in terms of who's like he can't really deal with either of us defensively. Alright, so we'll get into the second game in just a second. I wanted to show you guys a little bit of the big defensive part of that game that you saw because obviously we beat them. It's just how it is. I mean, we got as many defensive possessions as we did, and you know, I'm not gonna force ourselves to miss anymore just because we want more defensive footage, you know? But anyway, point being right there, I'm kind of doing like a little trail technique on him on this because he already beat me on the dex out to the 3 one time. So you can see I'm like not respecting the cut quite as much, but I'm still there enough for like if he did beat me on it. So right here, I feel like this is enough to recover where I can still play hands up and I don't have to rush into a Y like jump guaranteed. So I'm here trailing, right? So now this is still pick and roll principles. I know it's not LT dex spam, but they have to fit stuff like this into their play. I mean, they can't just only spam LT dex. Like, you know, you just don't have time to constantly reset to the center every single play, every single possession, and just play through him all game. You know, obviously the guard still has good speed with ball and can do stuff like this. Now, obviously, you know, I'd like to think they haven't ran into a lineup like ours very often where you end up in a situation like this. I'm trailing him. He continues the long run. Center comes to set the screen. And now Tonic's here to give a second defender. And I call this pre-switch in Pro-Am. This is probably why me and why me and Tonic deal with this so well. It's because we've played actually together like this on Pro-Am, at least in the, you know, plenty of reps of this, where I call this pre-switch that I'm getting back to the bigs role rather than playing sides still. I'm not here anymore for Tonic on the right of the screen. I'm just passing this off to him. This is a switch rather than sides. If you wanted the strict terminology of it, I guess. But yeah, I call it pre-switch. I'm getting down, I'm now switching onto the center, and he's up on the guard, and we pre-anticipated that was the case. So, because I'm already here walling him off in the paint. Could have played a lane if I'm better at that. It's not necessarily my kind of bread and butter, if you will. I'm more about the like get back in the lane properly. I told him, you heard the comms too, I'm playing corner side right here. Boom. As soon as he comes and uses the screen again, I'm here on the guard. Now I'm fighting through this one. I see it as good leverage for me to play high-low, and these are calmed out all the way. You could hear it. Now Tonic takes the drive. Because I have rebound, I want you guys to think about this too, because if this was me on a guard build and you put your center in like a back-end help situation like this, when he steps to the guard, there's no rebound to be had. Tonic's not getting that board right here because it's just hard to get this. In general, I was really kind of like, it was close to going to the big on their team is what I'm trying to say. But because I'm actually able to get a jump, whereas Tonic was stuck in a jump of trying to get the contest, or hands up for that matter, I'm able to get that board probably a little easier than Tonic would be able to. So anyway, into this, bro, I forget where it was. We had a DHO in that gameplay. It was insane. Or wait, no, my bad. It's the next gameplay. There's a dribble handoff that looks so clean. I don't know why. I thought that like blended in with that. But anyway, just wanted to show that part of the defensive possession. I don't really have too much more to break down for you guys on this type of gameplay. Obviously, you see me getting board positioning on the center. Just because I'm 6'8" and 85 offensive rebound does not mean that I just can't play with this. Not to mention, I have a 6'9" build. If any of you ended up making it, that would fit this really well, and it's a better offensive rebounder than this. It's just I have more speed and stuff like that on this build. I don't know. It's just also what I kind of been messing with lately, so I just like it. All right, so check this out. This guy's gamertag is literally dexing for 3, and once again, they're high reps and stuff like that too. I think this is vet 1, right? Oh wait, my bad. No, that's vet 3. And then this is starter 4, which I believe is what I'm at as well. I'm out of the loop on this, fellas. Not to mention, it's kind of hard to tell the difference between each of the reps of the affiliations and stuff too. But anyway, once again, another matchup like this where it's 98 speed, 98 three-pointer, 99 midi, 99 agility, 97 overall with like probably what? I think that's a whole nother set of cap breakers than me. So yeah, long story short, I mean, he's kitted out. He's got it all, you know? And then obviously at the big man position, they have a 7-1 with 99 O board. He's got 99 pass accuracy, so you know they're willing to play through this guy as far as like the LT dex initiator, if you will. 94 D board, 94 strength. Now, that means they can still use pick and roll, obviously, which people will do. I just talked about that in the last game, that obviously people will still utilize their pick and roll rather than just spam LT dex. This one, however, unfortunate. Now, I want to tell you that you're not going to see perfect defense in this game as opposed to the last one. You could argue I really don't even need to show you this because it's not going to be anything that you really don't already know. But this one's more of an offensive display of explaining things of why we do them, because these guys wanted to switch a lot more. It's more getting you guys kind of filled in with how to play this play style if you want to try and use it how me and Tonic do, or if you have something that emulates it at least somewhat closely. So anyway, right here, there's kind of like 2 ways you can go about this. Not to mention, this is going to be a lot more of like the pause and breakdown gameplay. So if you guys made it this far into the video and it's not really your speed, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, I really actually hope that you took something from this and were able to learn and maybe apply it to your own game. I hope that if you have a small guard out there, that you can even still try and find a way to take anything that I got right here and you can take it to your game. Hopefully. I don't know if that's the case because a lot of this is based on switches, so I do apologize to those of you who that might be. But anyway, for those who are still interested in seeing any part of this video, obviously I appreciate you still watching, but if you are popping off here, appreciate you, and if you want to drop a like, I'd appreciate that as well. Anyway, going into this part right here, there's 2 ways you could think of this like ideology wise, right? So you could either lock it up like man to man. You could make it so I'm just staying on the center and I'm here as a hedge defender, and Tonic could fight through it all. But honestly, like I said, he's 6'10", he's just going to be a lot taller. It's going to be a hard time for him to fight through screens, let alone LT decks and stuff like that. So I ended up trying to widen out right here to the right, but as you can see, I get put into a bump animation, super unfortunately. I guess that's just the price you pay for holding LT constantly on defense. It's the only time I ever saw this happen. It's just unfortunate I'm putting this in the video, obviously, but it is what it is. Anyway, you can see I get stuck. That I don't even know if it was his intention to get me stuck, and he wanted to free up that right side. It's kind of clean by him. I know, once again, here I go showing some praise to the people running this. People are gonna be flared up in the comments. They're ready to get that keyboard out right now talking about that. But hey, he made a read if that's what he was doing, and that's tough. That was a good play by him. Granted, did it take much skill? I guess not, I suppose. But did anything we were doing here take much skill? Probably not. It's a lot of intellect stuff that we were doing as far as matchup hunting and avoiding switches and stuff, but that's about it. Anyway, let me get off that topic. It's not the point of the video. Point being, as you can see, we are a little bit more prepared for this one. So Tonic releases off of the big, as opposed to how I got stuck right there on the last one. He did a good job here, releasing, getting to the guard. This is like a pre-switch right here that we just talked about, but more so, rather than the pick and roll, it's with the reverse action of it being the LT dex. So this is pre-switch. That's a lot easier to do as well because the big is not a shooting threat. So you can always just go ahead and back up off of him like Tonic did right here. Even if the big, like, you know, had a shot opportunity right here because we're backing off of him entirely, it doesn't matter. He's not going to shoot it. And if anything, even if he were a popper that has like 70-something three-pointer, you'd rather deal with that than the guard shooting 14 million threes with his 99 three-pointer anyway. I'd literally just give a wide open three-pointer to the big every time if they're running a lineup like this anyway, because it is going to be hard stops. It's just how it is. But anyway, as you can see, nice pre-switch. Tonic over to the guard. I'm on the big. Now we're ready for a little bit of a kind of situation like that, but as you can see, Tonic does get outran to the perimeter. Like I just had a miscue on the earlier possession, Tonic probably a little bit of a miscue right here as well, because he can depend on me for a little bit of help toward the middle, and as you can see, he kind of gives up the baseline hard. You can see he's already beat that way. If you were protecting his baseline slash, you know, sideline area, his right, essentially, if he were protecting his right more, then he'd probably be in a lot better shape right there, and he can trust on me to be able to play his like middle a little bit more if the guard were to have ran to the left and he outruns his kind of area, because then chances are that Tonic could just switch down to the big. Now right there I get killed again because he has me on a dex back, which I already got beat on that last game, so unfortunate, obviously, right? Like not our greatest defensive showing right there, but we're fortunate enough for him to just miss an open shot. Will that happen? Sure. At a high rate? Probably not, but is it still something you can depend on every now and then? Probably. Anyway, same thing they're gonna do though, right? They're just hoping that he misses an open shot now. I mean, that's what it's gonna come down to. Thankfully, Tonic, great shooter, right stick shooting as well, hitting the rhythm shooting, wide open in the midi. That's going to be a tough shot for him to miss, being in that mid-range. Right here, once again, they leave him wide open. It's going to be another, like, kind of, I don't know if that counted as a midi or a three-point opportunity. Either way, he ends up missing it. I don't have great rebound position. The big man ends up winning that battle with me, and then the guard leaks on the fast break, per se, if you will. I tried to release off him, but I kind of got stuck on the box out. Right here, I'm not gonna lie, this looks fluky, but I'm telling y'all, Tonic did that. Dude, if you watch the last gameplay, he was doing it a ton on the inbound too, and he's just good at stuff like this, and I gotta say, it's worth taking these opportunities. This is one little nugget of information that I want to give you guys. If this could apply to no matter who it is, going for reach-ins on these bigs when they have the ball like this is well worth doing, as long as the guard is not a scoring threat, shooting threat, whatever you want to call him. So let's say until the guard goes, I would say about like 3 steps to the left of the big, then he's a Tonic issue, right? As far as like he needs to guard him. If he goes 3 steps to the left or 3 steps to the right of the big, that's probably more of a me issue. Right here, he's not a scoring threat at all by any means, because he's just way too far behind the three-point line for us to even care about. If he wants to rip some 30-foot three-point, go for it, bro. On twos, that's like ludicrous. Not to mention we'd have 2 guys low on the box out. One would seal box, one would get bored. It's a terrible shot. It's just not good IQ shot by any means. So there's no threat to that, in case that was someone's rebuttal of like, oh, but like they could shoot from this far, bro. Okay, at like a 10%, 20%. Like, it's not worth thinking about. Anyway, point being, guard's wrapping across the Tonic side. He goes for a blitz though right here, and as you can see, I mean, the big has to keep the ball exposed right here. Generally, they'll even walk into you too. You can play for bump steals on those as well, and especially if you have sides capable players. Oh my god, I wish I had more footage of that for you guys. Like, let me pull up the YouTube video real quick. Okay, so like this is a perfect look, for instance, right? So the guard's wrapping across to Tonic side. If this were me being way more kind of schooled on this play style and being willing to take risks like this, if this big really wanted to run straight into me to wall me off while we're in a sides capable defense, bro, I should be going for a bump steal on this ball hand every time. Because at that point, if the guard dex is back my side, I can still release and still play my left leverage. I'm not leaving the left of the big ever, because all I'm doing is going for a bump steal on the left of him. This is like a good gem for you guys if you really want to try and do something like this when you have a sides capable defensive lineup like this. Because going for that bump right here, like I said, I could still recover to the left, and even if I miss the bump, Tonic is still going to be able to take the right side of the wrap right there, and when the guard comes over this way. Now, if he does get kind of glitchy with the dex backs and stuff like that, obviously, yeah, he'll end up on the left. But like I said, my leverage is never going to get further than to the left of the big man. I'm never going to over cheat it and like go way over here to the right. My assignment is always to stay to the left of this guy, because he's kind of the... I'm trying to think of a good word for it. He's just the initiator, essentially. There's a better word for this, but he's like the very key cog in the machine. Alright, had to think on what word to call this. He's like the backbone of this play, pretty much. Like, this guy is truly all that matters, because all you have to do is keep one guy to the left of him, one guy to the right of him, until he becomes a threat that actually wants to put the ball on the floor and slip this himself. That's when you're going to have to start getting a little bit more aggressive in terms of saying who's on who in terms of a man assignment at the last second. That's what we would call more of like the pre-switch, right? Like if we see the guard running this way to the right and this guy's a threat on the slip, I'd want to pre-switch this a little bit more to where instead of blitzing his left, I'd be a little bit more like far back, ready to kind of cut him off on the drive right here. And the pre-switch would anticipate that Tonic is then taking the guard coming this way. But then you have to, this is something that me and Bullet Passer, those of you who are familiar with him from back in like 2K23 Pro-Am and before that, he was my pick and roll duo for like that whole stretch of playing Pro-Am. And what he was great at, and what I would encourage you guys to try and get great at if you have sides capable players, is understanding those pre-switch situations where your defender, teammate, or you as a player on the left are trying to set yourself up to cut off the big man. You as this incoming defender for who is responsible for the guard needs to understand that when I go down and take the big away, that makes this left side of him, the screener, exposed. That makes it so if the guard decks back this way, it's going to be a good look for him. But if this guy's out of the way and slipping, and I then am patching him up, Tonic's going to have to realize that now the guard's in open field. He can go left, he can go right, and it's his job to cover anything, which is a tough spot to be in. I've put people in that spot as well. Some people are not great at it, some people are. Bullet Passer, he was the dog. He was the best at that stuff, man. And if you can emulate it, more power to you as well. But all it is really just anticipation. It's just understanding that when you get in that key spot right there, you have to know to be able to shoot to the left when the guard goes that way, if I have taken myself out of the side's defense and turned it into a switch, if you will. But anyway, that's just a breakdown right there. I hope some people got something from that, because it's a lot of information, but it's very helpful for those who like want to take it and put it into action. Alright, so anyway, all that is to pretty much say, that's why Tonic blitzed right here, because the guard wasn't a threat, and he might as well blitz it, right? But obviously that's what I was just telling y'all about, is if the guard wraps that way super hard though, Tonic, after that reaching attempt, would have to, like, you know, be willing to release. He needs to get off that big man, because now he's my job and my assignment to either A, body up, or B, at least play the right side leverage of to then take the guard back if he were to dex back this way while the big is still high at the very least. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this. Obviously, we're a little bit biased in, like, or blessed, if you will, to have the opportunity to have lab this in Pro-Am, like, of all places, really hard and competitively. So when we hit a kind of scene like this, it's not the biggest, you know, culture shock that we've ever experienced or anything like that. Whereas, obviously, a lot of you guys might not play very strategic, or especially your friends. Because if you're watching my channel, I'm sure a lot of you guys are at least, like, tuned in with, like, trying to play strategic, but your friends might not be on the same kind of playing field. So hopefully this video can at least put it into words and, like, kind of give them a diagram of how to go about things, and then you can use those terms yourself as well. But anyway, right here, unfortunate turnover. To get back to the gameplay, obviously a situation like this is a little bit of, like, you know, it was their fault, you know, that this didn't work out in their favor, where obviously I ended up, oh, my bad, this went back way too far. But anyway, I ended up in a situation where I was obviously on the right side, have him wide open, the guard's sitting low with his hands up, and, like, Tonic's wide open, the big goes down to double team, guard should have been trying to get out to Tonic at the very least, but anyway, it skips off the big's head, and then boom, they get the ball back, right? So now here we are, already in kind of like a pick and roll defense setup a little bit of fumble nonsense goes on right there. I see Tonic's way closer. This is another kind of cognitive thing of 2v2, right? Is I see Tonic is out the play, but he's way closer to being able to guard the big than he is the guard. We're already, this is like sides out of the fact that I just see he can't get over to the guard on the right now. So I'm on the guard, as you can see right there. I try and, you know, shoot through that, kind of fight through a little bit. Now they got the LT dex. It's an easy pre-switch. You can see I'm a little bit late, but I recover to the backside, and then boom, Tonic's up. So great defensive execution right here. Tonic fights through this one because I see shot clock is low. I want to play, like, key in on rebound, and that's important too. I mean, pardon my 8 million pauses and rewinds, but that's just the stuff we're on right now. We're trying to be a little bit, you know, intellectual here and try and explain things to you guys. So say I would have been a sides believer all the way true blue, you know, through and through, right? If I were sitting here saying, oh, Tonic might not be able to catch him, I need to play his right, and then Tonic can release to the big, you know? If I was in a situation like that, because realistically it does look like that could be the case. But you can't do that all game, especially when you're like below 10 seconds in the shot clock. If the guard's dribbled around a lot of hectic stuff has gone on. At this point, I'm like staying low, I'm playing box out, and I'm telling Tonic, commit high. Like it's almost more of like a lock your man at this point. We're not switching anymore, and that's what we get right there. As you can see, he recovers decent. He maybe could have jumped as well, but obviously don't want to get in a bad habit of jumping too much. Shot goes up, box to the big on the left. A little bit, I'm not going to lie, I kind of missed him a tad bit, but you still want to cover for that right side a tad bit on twos. It's a little bit different on Pro-Am. You want to play pure box outs on that. But anyway, Tonic's tired. We get a dribble handoff. This is what I was telling you guys about early in the video. Bro, what a beauty. If you want to study this a little bit, because I need to too, of the timing on this, oh my God. I mean, talk about a perfect handoff. I don't know. I wish I could emulate this every time. I wish I could get this exact animation because it doesn't like make him fumble. Sometimes the handoffs will make you like take it and then like stumble forward as well. They're terrible sometimes, but this was beautiful, man. Talk about dribble handoff at its peak. That was so good. So anyway, an actual dribble handoff rather than like the LT cheese per se of what I wish was in 2K. Of that actual handoff animation kind of interaction right there. Anyway, guard tries to pre-switch super early and then the big goes down. I don't know if that's necessarily what they intend to call it or say, but like, you know, obviously the guard was trying to release, so I catch him tripping, the big's too low, trying to play that in anticipation. Tonic hits him with kind of a backdoor. There's a little bit of a scuff possession right here. Obviously not a great look, but this is where the matchup problems kind of exist, where Tonic can obviously take that guard into the post, and it's going to be bad ball for him, bro. It's not going to go well even with that. Now, I will say that's probably their best matchup, though, because if they get the big on me, kind of, you know, where I'm, like, stuck in the paint, that's obviously a good situation for them because then they can just have him in a little dogfight with me on the rebound, and then, obviously, the guard at least can try and contest Tonic. Anyway, obviously, they've shown their hand way too hard now, and especially with the way he's playing it right now, it's so obvious that he wants to leave and get to Tonic early. And this is a situation where when the guard is all the way over here, where he's not even playing close to me at all, it's a lot easier for him to recover to Tonic. It's actually a very smart play by them. It's just they need a faster big. And this is where you can punish those super tall bigs for like being a rebound demon, you know, like being able to just be on some stuff like that, is that they're a little bit slow. So I can just catch it, take it down in the paint, and just get a nice little side clutch right here. Obviously, it can be blocked, but it's worth taking, in my opinion, at the very least. I don't think that gets blocked too consistently or anything like that. Anyway, into the next possession. Once again, I'm trying to stand still, make this a threat. We hit Tonic super early on this one because it looks like it's going to be a little bit more of a double team. I was correct in thinking that as well. And as you see, Tonic with that marksman take, shooting from deep. I'm there on the box out positioning as well. Once again, they're trying to like make this really obvious. I get a nice, easy dunk opportunity that rattles off the rim like crazy. I don't know. Once again, he might just be a good interior defender for all I know as well. So, hey, it is what it is. But anyway, Tonic gets a nice little dex right there. This guy's dashing. Obviously, we've already, you know, kind of talked about that a couple months ago. And somehow 2K still hasn't changed that. But hey, who am I to speak on it? Obviously, I've done it myself back in the day as well. Won't be doing it anymore, though. But anyway, nice gameplay right there. Once again, control the rebounds pretty good. The first game was way better on the board control and stuff like that, and just being able to, you know, make up for Tonic's misses and stuff. This game, he barely misses at all. We had one turnover, skipped it off the dude's head. Unfortunate. And then besides that, obviously, great offensive execution. And then played really good on defense in this one, besides the mess-ups early. But, like, I think this video gave a lot of good ways to kind of go about it playing defensively as well as offensively. So, anyway, I understand the lineup we're running right here is toxic, right? But I just do want to say I've tried to remain very positive and good vibes and kind of not so much humble per se, but like, you know, not being arrogant in this video. But pardon me for like 1 minute. I want to go to the comments of the YouTube video of the one that we did about a week ago. Okay, so first of all, we have comments like this, you know, right here of like, I can't believe you like this kind of gameplay. First of all, I don't like it. I'm not doing it. I'm just saying that, like, you know, I just believed that it was stoppable. I thought that people were overreacting, calling this the hardest thing they've ever seen to stop in 2K, the most toxic thing they've ever seen, the most toxic meta in 2K they've ever seen. I don't even think it's meta. I think I've played about 40 park games or so between threes and then like probably around 15 of those Proving Grounds games. There was like 3 people total who did the LT decks on those 15 Proving Grounds games, and that's like where the sweatiest of all sweats should be, you know? I mean, I don't know. You guys could tell me what you think your actual genuine percentage of people that you've played actually bringing this lineup out there are. I don't know. Or at least start a running count from now until then. And honestly, even then, it might still be invalid because that's just how, you know, little experiments like that work. Sometimes the numbers aren't exactly how it genuinely would work if you played it like 100 times. Just a sample of 10 might not be enough. But anyway, point being, this is the comment that I really wanted to talk about. Would love to see you go into Proving Grounds 2s and try to win games using 269s. Now, technically, it's not 269s. It's a 6'8 and a 6'10. But like, is that not the same difference? And here we are. I mean, felt pretty good to me. It felt very toxic and hard for them to deal with. And I mean, those dudes, that's their kryptonite. That lineup's kryptonite is 2 switchable defenders that the guard can't deal with on either of those on the offensive end of ours, where I'm too good of a rebounder for the guard to you know, be put on, and Tonic's too good of a shooter for the big to be put on, and then Tonic's too good of a post scorer for the guard to be put on, and I can still fight on the rebounds with the bigs. So I'm telling y'all, I mean, like, it sounds like a joke, and here we were, and then this is the one that really had me laughing, and I told Tonic, we gotta play, and it wasn't, I didn't tell him it was because of this. I don't even know if it was because of this, but, bro, this dude, because I said all of Season 1, I ran Stretch and Slasher. This exact lineup that I'm showing you guys, I ran with Tanner. He was on a 6'10 Stretch. It's one of my IRLs. We just played exactly like this. Guard has to guard someone. Can't be me as the rebounder, and it seems it's even easier to shoot over people now than it ever was before. And that's true. It is easier to shoot over people. The height discrepancy is crazy. My boy doesn't play it as much anymore, though. Same with me. You know, I haven't played on 2K as much. Tanner hasn't been either. I'll try it with Tonic, maybe sometime. That was a couple of days ago. Here's the footage from literally a day or two after this, and this dude hits me with a not Season 1 no more, bro. Everybody got plus 15 all their attributes, 99 speed, 99 3 ball, 99 steal, 99 ball handle. You literally can't keep up with the guard. This right here is the funny thing, bro, thinking that just because it's not Season 1 anymore, like, we can't play the same way. To me, the more guard center combos there are, the more toxic this lineup is. The thing that gave me and Tanner struggles was double locks. That was the type of stuff that we just struggle against because dudes would just grit their way to buckets pretty much. Just running around off ball for threes and stuff, you know? Not that they would use each other as screeners or the LT cheese, but like they would just run around moving everywhere and they would get ugly, gritty buckets on offense, and it's hard for us to generate anything against them because double locks equals there's no matchup to be hunted. We just have to have a stretch, ISO a lock, which is a tough look, and then I'm just on a rebound dogfight with... Though a lock is still a pretty easy matchup for me, it's not as easy as a guard. So like double lock was our kind of tough matchup. But like anytime me and Tanner saw a guard center combo, no matter if they were doing this LT cheese or not, it's a good matchup for us. So as toxic as you want to call it, it's pretty cake for us to deal with. I know some people don't want to hear that because obviously I'm a little bit, you know, biased in terms of like, yeah, we have the luxury of having a lineup like this and the privilege of, you know, having money to spend on builds and stuff, me and Tonic do. But to be fair, these are builds that me and Tonic have had for months now. And I've suggested to people on my channel specifically over and over again that switchable locks will always be good in 2K. I've said in the beginning of the year, every year that I've been able to tell you guys something like this, where I have early access to the game, that I'm a big believer that you can't go wrong with a tall switchable lock. You can go wrong with like a 6'4 fight through lock. It's hard to make those widely acceptable. It only plays one position, whereas a tall switchable lock can play back end and on ball. Whether you're talking pro-am, it can play the 3 in park or it can play the 2, which is good too. You run 2 of them, that's good too. If you had 2 small locks, that's not good. You can't do anything with that. If you have 1 small lock that's not actually good at the game and he can't fight through screens and he's not super like a demon at, you know, getting through everything like that, it's not good. But it's hard to be bad as a tall lock as long as you have some communication with your teammate. So I don't know. I've tried telling people that every single year. So I just want y'all to know I don't feel that I'm at fault for anybody having a small lock. I'm the least believer in that of anybody in the community. But I get it though. I totally get it. It's not easy to just be lucky to have a lineup like this in the first place. Or some people don't want to just, you know, make a whole new build for a lineup like this, especially at this stage of the year or anything like that. So I understand. I totally do. And I'm not trying to be insensitive to anybody that doesn't apply to. I don't have any advice for any of you guys out there that have small non-switchable builds, because that's just, in my brain, the way that this clicks super easy to stop. Maybe I could try labbing it up sometime, trying to figure out how to defend it on a fight through situation, but honestly, that's the same way I feel with pick and roll. Pick and roll is not easy to stop when you have a tall big on the back end and a small player on the front. It's just when you have no switchable capabilities, that's the whole point of pick and roll. Which, yes, I know I'm getting a little bit too aggressive with this, because this is not the same thing as pick and roll. It's toxic. It gets you stuck at a way higher rate than screens do, but it's the same concept. You're trying to get a smaller defender stuck, and you're trying to force the bigger defender to guard the smaller defender to create mismatches. And if you don't see that, you're just blind. That's the same logic is applied to this. It's not the same stick work. It's not the same, you know, skill from the guard of manipulating screens and like reading stuff and stuff like that, but the big still reading stuff like this too. Now, let me just stop praising this, because that's not the vibe I'm trying to give off, but I'm just saying that the matchup hunt is the thing that exists in this, and that is similar to Pro-Am. That's all I was trying, not Pro-Am, pick and roll. So all I was trying to say in this video right here, pretty much, that I was ever advocating for this, and the only reason I said that I thought it was interesting, or maybe I didn't give this off the right way, is because it's fun to play against, to me. I like there being a villain in 2K. I like the idea of like something that's toxic, and me seeing a vision for how to actually stop it and suggesting that to people. And if people are too butthurt that like I'm explaining this to a wide demographic of people that this will help, but then say, this ain't helping me, bro. Like, bro, I'm sorry that that's the case. But I'm just trying to give my advice to people who maybe fit the same mold defensively as what I've been working with. That's all. So anyway, it's off video. I really do hate that I've focused so much on this in my return to YouTube, but it was that villain thing that I'm talking about. I find it polarizing and fun to try and game plan a way to stop this. So anyway, I hope some of you did enjoy this. Again, I apologize for the negative tangent at the end of the video right here. I wanted to keep it good, positive vibes, and that's how it was at the beginning of the video. A lot of good suggestive stuff. But this right here obviously was just kind of me trying to explain my reasoning of why I clapped back at some of those people saying that I believe these things and saying that I'm confident that we could find a way to stop this, and then dude just laughing at the idea of 269s playing on 2s. Like, I didn't do it all of season 1, ranked the super like crazy high. I dashed out of one game and people illegitimize everything that we did, and I did it with an IRL for that matter too. I don't know, crazy. Like, but hey, that's my own fault too, and it is what it is. Maybe some people don't even know about it. Maybe some people don't even know I played Proving Ground season 1 with Tanner and won like at a 92% and stuff like that. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, we're off the tangent. We're off the rant. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new to them, noties, all that good stuff. And like always, try this 1 to 1,000 likes. Made it in the video. Put Tonic in the comments. Show Sports Man like through. Shout out to the man. Like, he's probably my best friend on this 2K stuff. AK as well. Playing with both of them in this gameplay as well. And just a good dude, Tonic, for sure, man. Y'all gotta check out his channel. He, like I said, great dude, great 2K player, and a good friend on top of that as well. So anyway, it's all video. Hope you all enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.